Hey everybody, and welcome to the Drafting Offers Podcast, the podcast where you get to vote for each episode's draft champ. We're realtors from Southern Ontario, but this is not another real estate podcast. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, catch every episode on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts, and follow us on social at the Drafting Offers Podcast. Here are your hosts, Brad Warner, Scott Morgan, and John Fielding. Hey everybody, how's it going? We're back again. We're another week of the Drafting Offers Podcast with a little change, a little bit of a change. Only a cosmetic change, though. Scott's got a beautiful feature wall.
Well, I think getting feature wall in the 5th round is just an absolute steal. I wouldn't say it won me the draft. I'd say it's just a really solid 5 choices that everyone seemed to like. That's what won the draft. But I got carried away. I think it brought up a little bit of a reminder that maybe I needed to do something new for the podcast here and have a better feature wall. So we went with salamander green. It's kind of a dark color, but if you look closely when the light's on, it has a hint of green, thanks to our designer friend Charlotte Oates Millette for the recommendation.
Congrats to
we like
Jays
giving plugs.
Winners.
Yeah.
Congrats to the Jays tickets winners.
Yeah, Chelsea
right?
Andrew. Yes.
Yeah.
So they posted some pictures. They took their couple-month-old son Bennett to his first game, and he had those like kind of headphones that John is wearing right now to shelter himself from the booing, I think, from the terrible loss to the Nationals yesterday.
That's what I'm doing here too. I'm sheltering myself from all the booing.
Yeah.
Looked like a good game. I don't know. What was the score? Was it a good game? I wasn't even really.
They lost by a run to one of the worst teams in the league when they're in a big playoff hunt, and I don't want to say it put a nail in their coffin, but it's not looking good for them.
I don't watch a ton of Blue Jays, but didn't they like not sub runner the catcher or something like that, and that cost them the game?
One of the slowest players in the entire league. Yeah, it's
Rod Barajas was on third base, and they didn't put in a different guy.
Not Alejandro Kirk. He's a bungalow. He's about as tall as he is wide, and doesn't have the fastest feet. But hey, he wins.
Those are my favorite. Those are always my favorite players. So I don't even know him, but he's definitely my favorite Blue Jay.
Kirby Puckett, another big. I love those guys.
Throwback name. Yeah, Brad will get you a Kirk jersey.
Appreciate it. Well, while we're on sports, I mean, go Canada, go, right? Like by the time this airs, we'll either be knowing we're in the finals or semifinals, I think. So go Shea, go the boys. Basketball for John, sorry. I don't know if you knew that, where you look stunned there, or whoever's listening. But Canada basketball rolling right now.
Because soccer didn't happen. I mean, golf didn't happen. I don't know. What have we got left?
You want to dig into the Ryder Cup too?
No.
No.
The last time we did some golf chat, that was a quick segue from John into the next topic. But
it's going to happen again.
Cup picks pretty controversial. Yeah. What do you think about that, John?
Nothing. I got no opinion on that.
Speaking of golf, this will be the last recording before Brad and I take off for Brad's first vacation in probably 9 years. We'll be going on our guys' golf trip. So go Team Ferguson. I'll just drop that right now. No one really knows what that means other than 20 guys going. So
sure.
Scott's Team Ferguson. I'm Team Smith. Team Smith is a heavily favored.
You can't even say it because we know you're lying. Yeah,
very heavily favorited. I know that.
Maybe heavily favorited to have a good time, but that's about it. So enough for the listeners that aren't involved in that, which is pretty much everyone but a couple people. So thank you for the nod on the win. Looking forward to this week's draft. See if John can get back in the win column or into the win column. Sorry, I didn't mean for that to actually be an extra dig. I just caught myself.
I'm okay with it.
We're not really firing today. For those listening and watching, it's just 5 guys wearing black t-shirts that are just looked like they woke up a little on the wrong side of the bed. But
5? Where are the other 2? Are you seeing? Are you
they're hidden?
Are you seeing 2 of us?
That's how out of it I am right now. I'm tired.
The one who's got the cold. I don't know how much you're going to get out of me today, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. I took some Buckleys and I'm good to go. This article that we've been perusing for the last little while is it's a finance article. It's brought out by the NASDAQ American. But I mean, this is kind of an international thing. I mean, it doesn't just apply to the United States or Canada because it's not talking specifically about the market. But this is more of an FYI or a how-to or a kind of one of those top whatever number of things to do when doing real estate stuff. And a lot of people like those articles because it kind of just like lists things. It's easy to follow, and you kind of feel like you're either on the right track or you're not.
You know what though? I think where you're getting at is we try to confirm, deny, or clickbait headlines. This was one that jumped out as one of those fluff headlines, and it was 8 must-haves before investing in real estate property. So secondary property. We wanted to kind of see. We had our own thoughts and just see what they had. So number 1 on that list was location, which I know Brad won a draft with location. So what do you think about that, Brad? Do you think that's legit?
Oh, of course it's legit, and every investor is going to ask, and it depends on, the constituents that they're looking for to rent out whatever real estate that they're buying, and I don't know if this all is just residential. Some of it's commercial too. So obviously in certain areas, in the GTA, it's how close you are to the GO train or the subway or whatever that applies. And then in a smaller town like mine is it close to the public transit? Because there's lots of places that aren't. And when you are looking for those tenants, you want to make sure that you can get the biggest pool of tenants that you possibly can. And location absolutely matters.
Yeah, close to employment, close to schools. Like it depends on what your rent or who you're renting to and what kind of product you have. But yeah.
Yep.
I think
all kinds of amenities nearby.
Location stands true. So
that kind of gets into the next point, which is cash flow potential too, which is kind of like, dependent on the location as well, right?
Yeah. I mean, if you're getting into especially a residential property, if it's not cash flow positive, to me, it's a terrible investment. Like there's a few ways to buy income properties and make money on them. Obviously being cash flow positive from your rent is one of them. But if you're paying out of pocket every month, you're putting yourself at a big disadvantage. You're really just banking on that property going up in value. So now we're hitting a time where we've had some settling in the market. We've had some, if you're on a variable rate, that could be problematic. If you're paying more. Being cash flow positive, I think, is one of the most important, in my opinion, for buying a secondary property.
I think in this current market, though, that is definitely easier said than done. Everybody wants to be cash flow positive. There's no doubt about that. But the reality is there's a lot of people, they're investing to hold it for a long term for rental. Cash flow neutral is certainly right there right now with the rents at the way they are. Cash flow positive is extremely difficult in this current market. Even where I live, where it seems like we have a lot of high rent going on here because we do have that like GTA, a lot of GTA agents, a lot of GTA investors who are like bringing over what people would pay rent over here. Whereas the prices of houses are obviously a lot less. And even those houses, to be cash flow positive, we're talking like over $3,000 a month in rent for our single family house. And then obviously when you're in a duplex, triplex, you're more likely to be cash flow positive. But then you have to also factor in the vacancy rate too. So it's easier said than done right now.
Easier. Well, it just shows how difficult it is to be purchasing income properties nowadays. You're needing 20% or more down. And before you could get into a, say, $300,000-$400,000 home in Durham region and maybe get into a duplex where you're getting 2 incomes and you're very cash flow positive, where I think it's really just showing how difficult it is in our local market with local prices and where they're at to be actually doing that. So a lot of people, a lot of investors are maybe going cash flow neutral, which it's a little more risky. But as long as I really feel like you're not paying out of pocket each month to cover it, it's not for a long-term investment. It's a good strategy. Yeah. But a lot of people are looking out of province or into different options of maybe Airbnbs. Maybe you're getting into more of a resort style. Like you get out to Collingwood, you can get condos there where they're guaranteeing you income, even if it's vacant. There's different options. People are looking down in Florida or Nova Scotia. Just it's becoming more difficult in the province of Ontario and country of Canada.
That's like kind of leads back into a conversation we had about interest rates a couple of weeks ago. And if
we haven't talked about interest rates much on here, have we?
Never. No, we never talk about interest rates, which is why I'm mentioning it, because I think we should all know. But we talked about how interest rates have got, if you're on a variable, if you bought an income property on a variable rate mortgage, your mortgage payment has probably gone up 10 times in the last year or two, year and a half, and the rent, if you've got tenants, their rent can only go up once, so you're paying more. So again, if you've had a positive cash flow, even a neutral cash flow, investment property, now you might be paying a little bit more for that property than your tenants are paying in rent, which is again why a lot of people are trying to, ditch these properties or raise rent to like kind of unrealistic levels. But it's funny, we talk about rent in Belleville versus rent in Durham region, and it's quite similar, although houses in Durham region are quite a bit more expensive to purchase. So would it be a good idea to invest in Belleville or Trenton, somewhere out there? I mean, I kind of think it might be a better investment than Durham region or Toronto for that matter. But then you'll typically find different conditions of properties too, and so that's a big factor. And I think that's the next point in this article happens to be the property condition and what it actually offers and how much you can charge in rent based on kind of the condition of the property, right?
That's number 3. Property condition, I think, is crucial. Are you looking to put some work into it and maybe add some equity there? You can maybe refinance after and then rent it out, or maybe you're getting into a place that is already done. It's already a duplex, or if it's a single family home and it's already renovated to the nines, or maybe you can account for more rent on your purchase. So property condition, I think it's a good one.
I think the guy that wrote the real estate investor that's like doing this article is someone who's buying something and renting it immediately. But there's so many investors that I've dealt with more often than someone who just buys a brand new house and rents it out, that are trying to do the BRRRR method as much as they can. So they're buying it, they're renovating it, they're refinancing it, and they're renting it, and they're moving on to the next one with the equity that they've got. Yeah. So it works both ways, I guess. Like a lot of people are looking for those properties that are under distress because they're going to get a better deal on it.
Well, if you can cash out and you're playing with house money and it's covering itself, you're doing things right. It's just like we said, it's more easier said than done. You're almost needing to have a significant amount down in order to have your payments being lower. But which, speaking of payments, good financing options, number 4.
There aren't any. Move on.
Yeah,
they're just
rates are higher. You're needing more money down, but I think that's just talking about depending on what you're putting down, whether you're getting to an insured, uninsured, lots of financing options. I just think at this point, if you're buying an investment property, you're coming with hopefully a good amount forward, or maybe multiple partners in order to get your financing, which leads into 5, solid risk assessment.
This whole thing is a risk assessment though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't this whole article a risk assessment? I mean, that's kind of I don't know if that's a specific part. I think this whole thing is a big assessment of the risk.
This is
kind of analysis if you want.
It's kind of overviewing. Sorry, it's kind of overviewing all of the different things here. Like you're assessing the location, you're assessing what your vacancy rate is, you're assessing what kind of availability is out. Like there's so many things that you're assessing, and then you're also assessing how you're making money on this investment. Are you cash flow positive? Are you looking in an area that is going to be growing long term? What's the market like? But I kind of just hit on another one, number 6, rental demand.
We've been talking about rent and the cost of rent and things like that, the financial aspect of it, but really the demand, if there's no rental demand and you're buying an investment property somewhere, if it's in the country and nobody's like, you want this property, you think you can rent it out for $5,000 a month because it's a beautiful country property with, a stable and 9 bedrooms. You probably aren't going to get that demand out there unless some celebrity or whatever comes in and wants that specific location. But you want to be buying an investment property where the pool is already high, and maybe not so much where the rent is going to change over too many times. There's going to be some that are near universities. I'm sort of sandwiched between a couple of universities and colleges where I live, so the rental pool is strong. The socioeconomic factors of the area, sometimes, just based on like owning versus renting. If it's like 50-50, people rent, half the people rent, half the people own. You might have a very strong renter pool, but what you're charging in rent has to reflect the economics of the area, right? You can't buy a $9 million property where everything else is $1 million and expect to rent that place out for top dollar. It just doesn't work that way. So you've got to look at what the demand is, where your people are renting, how long they stay in their places, what they're willing to pay.
You have to be doing your due diligence. Like right now, for instance, you mentioned the students and the international students that are coming to Canada. I mean, I don't know about where you live, but where I live, they're coming in, they're flooding here, and I have a couple rentals right now up that I have marketed, and the amount of international students that don't have housing is insane. Like I'm talking, while we're on this podcast, I'll have 3 or 4 different people reach out about this rental who are international students who just got here, and it's August 30th. School starts next week, and most of them do not have housing because they can't come here for around here anyways. They can't come here until 3 weeks before school, and they're told that it's going to be easy to get a house, and they come here and there is nowhere to rent. So a lot of people are see this as an opportunity to, you know, go out there and rent to the students. The students will pay quite a bit per room, but then you have to do your due diligence. What kind of neighborhood are we looking in? Because, you know, the specific zoning won't allow that sort of tenant, or it's just going to cause huge headaches for you long term. So
big time. If you're trying to do that on your own, you might miss something like that. There's a pocket near the university in North Oshawa, and you have to register your home in that neighborhood. So what had happened was, when there was a new development, which we'll get to as number 7, people were buying these as their full-time homes, their dream homes. And then they were moving in and they were having frat houses and full-blown rentals. And Brad and I live together in a few of those, and they don't get taken care of. The property's not taken care of. You're getting people that are in and out of there. You're hosting parties and keggers, and at least we did. And so having that registration is important. So if you don't know that and you're getting in there, you go to rent it and you don't realize you can only rent to 4 rooms, that could be a problem. So but what do you guys think? Recent or new development? Would you rather get into a property that's been around for a while and rent that out, or new construction, new development?
For me, I would rather have one that's already there. I don't know enough about new construction. Like, I don't do a lot of new construction work, but I do know that new construction, like, materials are very expensive and labor is kind of hard to get. And there's a lot of delays when it comes to new construction these days, especially where I am. I think it's just a little bit too risky. I'd rather go and look at a property myself and know what I have to do to it. I'm not a big fan of waiting and wondering how the neighborhood is going to perform. I'd rather go into an established neighborhood already, knowing the rental pool, knowing the economics, and knowing all of those types of factors that I'm going to need to know as an investor. I don't necessarily want to invest in a brand new construction area and, you know, these houses sell for top dollar and everybody's looking forward to it, and then a waste reclamation plant opens up 6 miles down the road. Like, I don't know those kinds of things. I'd rather just go to the already established neighborhood with its own socioeconomic factors and know what I'm getting myself into.
I guess in my opinion, it just depends where you are on your trajectory, in like where you are with the investing portfolio that you currently have. You know, I know someone that he does investing full time. He was able to quit his job because of it, but it was so far down the line to when he started building his own brand new multiplexes.
Yeah.
And then getting into commercial, like maybe commercial on one floor and, you know, residential up, and they were brand new that he built, and there's a lot of money to be made there. But if you're an investor thinking about getting into investing, that is just so far down the line. Whereas you're going to probably start at a duplex, or like a residential resale duplex, or maybe even a single family home.
Yeah, it completely depends on the portfolio. I think it depends on the product as well. So if you're in a condominium, and it depends how long you're planning on holding it, but if you're getting into a 10-plus-year-old condo in, say, downtown Toronto, you're now dealing with a building that's a little bit older, a little bit more wear and tear, and those condo fees are now much higher. So a lot of people will exit that market with their portfolio once those maintenance fees start to get higher. Now, if you're dealing with, say, we've been talking about North Oshawa, it's developed quite a bit, especially around that university. There's been many developments in the last, I'd say, 10, 15 years. A lot of the homes that were built in there, if you're buying for family, a lot of those developers were putting the signs on the lawn. And we were in a market in about 2017, 2018, where it was hard to get a home. So people were lining up for a day or two in order to just ensure that they were in line to purchase a property. So what had happened is the amount of for sale signs when they moved in was insane. So if you're buying for a family neighborhood, the turnover there is high. The living and feel and community is not necessarily there. So if you're buying for students, great. But if you're looking for a long-term purchase for that value in that area to grow, not so much. So it really depends on the amenities of the product, I guess, is what I was getting at. But
yes. Well, because and I think what I was going to mention before, just really quickly, was the amenities haven't necessarily come in yet, too, right? So the established neighborhoods have the grocery stores and the convenience stores and whatever, all the transit lines, schools, all that kind of stuff is already there. Whereas the new development, it may not be there yet. So you might be turning
This happened downtown where I was living in downtown Toronto. They built a bunch of condos and didn't have any amenities. So there was no convenience stores, no grocery stores, dry cleaner or whatever, right? So, and the amenities will determine who goes into the neighborhood. So, it's a difference between a Tim Hortons and a Starbucks. May not factor in everywhere, but in this area where I am, it probably would.
I think we hit that one. 8, seller motivation. I think that kind of is one of the bigger things for me. So seller motivation, I think, is just brushing the surface. But I think the one that I would hit as a nail on the head is the purchase price. If you're getting into a place where you're maybe into equity before you've even moved in or before you've actually closed, great. A good way to get that is if you have a motivated seller, maybe in a market like right now where they need to get out and you're able to take that off their hands and get it for a decent price. That is almost the most important thing because your foot is in the right pool right away. So I think seller motivation is, yes, a good idea. I mean, if you're looking in the listing notes and it says motivated seller, is that maybe one to go after? Sure. But to get deals nowadays is not as easy. It's easier said than done, especially in the market that we've been in for the last 5 to 7 years. But what do you guys think?
And I think we've talked about this before, but the motivation factor in a negotiation is one of the most important things. And the more motivated party holds less power in a negotiation, and the less motivated party is the one who kind of drives the bus, and people don't necessarily always realize that. Like I've seen some vacant houses that have been vacant for who knows how long, could be a couple of years, and people will come up to me and say, hey, can you go and try to find out who buys that house? And they think they're going to get this screaming deal on this seller that or owner that obviously doesn't care about the house at all. And those are the worst people you'd want to negotiate because they don't care if they sell. So motivation is such an important factor. And I think this kind of like encompasses the whole market that we're in right now. And the way that I see the market playing out here in the next little while is if we stay on this, low showings, in my market, it's much more balanced market. Buyers are really hesitant, especially if we're going to see a rate increase come up again. With this going on, the people that are investors who have the money are going to hold so much power because there are going to be sellers out there that have made mistakes and, maybe over purchased of what they can afford. And those people are going to need to sell and they're going to be motivated to sell. And there's going to be investors out there with money. So in some sense, it's like the rich are just going to get richer at this point if it stays on the trajectory that we're on right now as far as the market goes. Completely.
And you talk to any investors and when the market's a little bit lower, they say that's the time to buy. I think the same will be happening. I think when you look back like 5 years from now, when you look back at now, there's gonna be a lot of people that got in and are so happy they did, whether it's for investment or whether they're making that jump up because we're seeing mortgages that are at a lower rate. So if you're able to sustain your payments and be comfortable with either a 3 to 5 year rate, or I don't know if many people jumping into variable, but all signs are in the next like probably 2025 ish rates are going to go down. We still have a supply issue. I've said this so many times. I feel like a broken record, but if you're able to get in, you're getting in at the worst payment spot to the bank. And if any, but you're getting in at a better mortgage. So if you're trying to time the market and you're trying to time when rates get better, it just means the floodgates are going to be opening and you're going to be maybe purchasing at a higher price. So I think this is a very crucial part in time for real estate.
So today, like if I were to go buy an investment property today, should I get a variable rate mortgage or should I get a fixed rate mortgage for, 3-4 years, right? Like I don't even know if I would kind of suggest a fixed. I think fixed for me because I'm on a fixed rate mortgage here. If I have a fixed rate mortgage, a little bit safer. Variable rate mortgage is still kind of unknown. But if you think the rates are going to come down in 2 years, 3 years, maybe even less than that, do you go variable rate, right? Or do you do like a 2-year fixed rate and then worry about it when the time comes?
I would,
yeah. That's it. That's your SWOT analysis. Yeah.
And we're not mortgage brokers, so we don't know the details on every product of mortgage out there. Back to the finance options, I guess. But it really comes down to what's your plan. Is it a long-term thing? Is it a short-term thing? And that's going to dictate what kind of mortgage you're going to be taking. And honestly, if someone asked me that, I would say, if you're planning on breaking the mortgage, you're going to want to find out how much it's going to cost to break it. Yeah. And I'm always going to say, go and talk to a mortgage broker. They're the experts at
For
Yes,
sure.
they know.
From my
Not every mortgage
understanding
is
of
the
what I've heard is a lot of purchasers are taking on 3 or 5 year,
Yeah.
and they're more risk sensitive. So they're going, I don't know if the wheels fall off this cart, then I know I'm good for the next 3 to 5 years and can make a choice then. But if things get better, like Brad said, if you know what your to break your mortgages, and you know that cost and you're comfortable doing that down the line, if rates do get better, or maybe you look into blending. And then maybe in 3 years, you're in a way better position. And like we were saying, you're in a lower mortgage, your payments are just going to get better, and you're so happy you made the choice you did. So I think we hit that one. I think they had some good things. I think we had some good things maybe they missed or could elaborate on a little bit more, but
Most of
interested
it, I
in your
think, is
feedback on what other people, maybe other agents listening or some of our clients and followers think about that. So
I would love to hear from people that listen, like, what do they want to hear about? Is this the kind of thing they want to hear about? Is the financing side of things something they're interested in? We could always bring on an expert to talk about it. I'd love to know what they want to hear about, and we can always talk about that.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think I can speak for you guys. When we started this up, we thought a lot of people listening would be more interested in the draft and some humor and some not another real estate podcast topics. And just through speaking with people that do listen, it's pretty cool when the people reach out the day that it drops. They've already listened and they're telling us, we really like this or really like that. To hear people that have appreciated our take on certain things, that's great to hear. So if there's more things you want to hear about, we're all for it. And even the draft topics, if there's some funny ones or some serious ones that you want to hear about, we have a good list, but we're all for taking requests because we're enjoying doing this, and we don't want to feel like Charlie Brown's teachers when we're rambling on. We want you to be getting something out of this. So again, thanks for listening.
Have we ever done a serious draft topic? I don't know.
Pre-listing was that last week was a little bit.
That was a pretty serious one. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I forgot about the feature wall. I can't get that out of my head. It's like I'm having nightmares about feature walls right now.
I'm just thinking of how much
and
time and effort Scott thought about it, and how much of his week went into that feature wall. It just makes me sick.
My wife and kids just hate the podcast because I'm never around. I'm just researching because you got to come out on top. But
that's what I'm doing wrong. That's what it is. I'm not doing the research, and I'm not putting feature walls up behind me. That's what it is. Yeah. I think I'm going to go feature wall here. What color should I go behind me there?
Hey,
black, just black.
Salamander green is pretty popular.
I don't think our salamander. Okay, whatever. We'll talk about colors another time.
They are green.
We lost a legend this week. We wanted to maybe. Well, I did. I don't know about you guys, but I wanted to honor his memory a little bit. The late great Bob Barker passed away, and I think
dun, dun,
dun, dun, dun, come on down, Roddy. I was like, for me, it kind of hit me a little harder than I thought it would actually, because Bob Barker was one of those guys that taught us how much things actually cost. Like, I didn't know what a fridge cost when I was young. I didn't know what a new car cost until I started getting into cars. I didn't know what a dining room set. I didn't know what Noritake dining room or silverware was. I didn't know what a Howard Miller grandfather clock was. And now I know how much these things cost. And that's the thing, like that show, The Price is Right, and Bob Barker, now Drew Carey, teaches people what their housing expenses probably are going to be to furnish their houses. And I think it's awesome. And I think that's why we want to talk this week about our best and favorite household appliances.
Yeah.
I mean, but by the way, you knew how much they cost like 15 years ago.
Yeah, but I'm talking about as a kid home from sick. When you're home from school sick, if I'm sick one day and I stayed home with my grandmother who was there, my mom,
babysitter Bob was
babysitter, right? Watching The Price is Right.
Like, come on down.
The thing that throws me off though is it's an American show, so a lot of these prices are a little like you get in car costs and you're going, really? And you think, oh no, we pay an arm and a leg more. But I like the segue. I liked a lot of what they'd have out there where you'd have to sort of match up which price, with which item. Gonna miss Bob doing Plinko. I know it's been a while since he's actually done it, but he was a legend.
Plinko was a good one. The one, what was the one where like the guy hikes up the mountain?
Oh, that's the
yodeler.
Yeah.
That was probably the one I remember the most.
I bet you were just walking around yodeling, driving your parents nuts, eh?
I mentioned this one. R.I.P. Bob. And I just pretend The Price is Right is over. I just don't even know that Drew Carey does it.
You're not a Drew Carey guy,
Bob Barker was was the guy, and I mean, beat the crap out of Happy Gilmore, and like I love them, and that's it. So Price is Right is Bob
Yeah.
Barker, and there's no other Price is Right in my mind.
No, the
By
last
the way,
15 years didn't
yeah.
exist for you, right? 'Cause
Yeah,
you
pretty much. Yeah, pretty much.
just
Since I've
skipped over
been,
the last 15 years.
yeah, and when I for this appliances draft, I brought this up to somebody yesterday that we were doing it, and they're like, "Well, there's only like 6 appliances. How could you possibly draft 15?" So just to like reiterate what we talked about is it's anything basically in your house that's plugged in.
Pretty much.
Yeah, it
Countertop
doesn't have to just
appliances,
be
major- No.
yeah, it's not the appliances that maybe
What-
stay in a sale. It can be anything. So
It can be
we'll
anything,
see.
so-
I mean, hopefully there's no vetoes and people are getting crazy like last week. But
All right.
yeah,
Let's spin that wheel.
let's get this order. We're gonna need to know what's
Yeah.
going on. So let me share my screen with you
Mhm.
guys.
While we're waiting, multiple people were like, "Holy crap, Scott gives you a hard time on the podcast. Like vetoes everything I say. He's anti Brad all the time." That's what
So many people. What, one person said that?
at least a handful. later,
So here we
later, at a
go.
later
We're
date.
spinning. I think order here is going to be crucial, and
Yeah.
Brad just
Oh,
sneaks
yes.
in with the win. Wow, Brad will be picking the order this week.
Okay, John can go first. I'll go second, and Scott will go
Okay.
third.
Back to the giving you a hard time before we
No.
get going. I've known Brad since we were probably 20 years old. Brad has a nice smile on him, and he's got that Belleville twang, and that makes you feel confident and feel good, and he's just a happy guy to be around. Brad can sometimes sneak in things and get his way under the radar without you, and he'll push the boundaries in a jolly way. And what he does here sometimes is try to get more out of his picks than and break the rules. And I'm a bit of a rule follower. So when I see that, I want the integrity of the draft to be remaining. And I think a lot of what you try to get, look at you smiling. And
I'm
looking
not
away.
even
You
sure
know,
how to
you
take
know.
this. I'm not even sure how
Yeah.
to take that. You're
Where
acting
are you
like
going
I'm
with this?
You act
I'm
like
just
I'm
saying.
manipulative.
No, I think when it comes to these little things
You
here,
think
you'll
that.
have a little smile as you say it because it's calculated. And I
You
think
think
you want
I'm manipulative. That's what you
you
think.
want a calculated guy in your corner. That's Brad. But in this draft, that's why I got to keep the train on the rails, train on the track, because
All right.
I think you can sometimes get away with things. So, but I do love you. I do love
Coming
you.
from the guy who's won almost all the drafts.
Can't beat greatness. So
Well, we'll see what happens now. I'm
John
first.
Fielding starting it
What's
off. First pick of the appliance draft that John wanted. So this is going to be a big one. I have a feeling.
I really hope so. I got a couple of big ones here. I got a pretty strong list, I think. So my first one's going to be the all-encompassing air fryer. And an air fryer is an air fryer. Air fryer is essentially just like a small convection oven with a lot of power. So it can take these things and it can kind of make them crispy the way that you would get in a deep fryer, but without any of the oil. So air fryer can do it can bake, you can defrost, you can make chicken wings, you can you can reheat things. Air fryers is pretty much almost everything. You can do almost everything in an air fryer. Think anything that you would do in like a pan or on a tray or in the oven, or even in the microwave. Reheating pizza in an air fryer is the best thing ever, I think. So that's my number one pick.
I think you've been on a very big health kick the last few months. You've been running almost every day, and I think you like to have maybe a fried food that you can do healthily, and I think that is where your mindset is on this one.
A little more healthfully than
Is this
than
like?
the deep
But is
frying.
this? Are these still like big? Like I feel like this was a COVID thing.
All I'll say is this
Okay, all right,
is
all right.
going to be
I
around
actually,
in
you
10
know what?
years?
This
Is it
draft, there's
around?
not a lot of structure to like the rules, I think. So, I didn't even have air fryer, but I don't own an air fryer. So, but with my pick, I don't own it. I mean, I own a version of this, but it's a smart refrigerator. One
Mhm.
that's going to tell you the weather outside. It might have your calendar on it. Obviously, it's making ice, crushed ice, giving you your water, like what most fridges have, but like that high end one that you could talk to, set the temperatures and different.
Are you lonely over there, bro?
That's
Everything.
You need to talk to your fridge.
A smart
So
fridge.
does that leave non-smart fridges available? That was just
Sure, I
interesting
don't
you
care.
wanted to
If the
dig- no, I have to say I actually posted. I was in Costco a couple weeks ago, and they have these the technology on these fridges is insane, where you can kind of grab the handle, push the button, and just access the front of the door without opening the door.
Yeah, keeps the
It's
cool
getting-
in there. Yeah, it's supposed to
But,
be good for your energy because you're not opening the whole fridge, you're just opening the front panel. There's another one, I think maybe even the same one, where you just kind of knock on it, you knock on the screen and it lights up and shows you what's in there instead of opening it all the time and letting the cool
Yeah.
out. So
It's keeping an inventory of what's in there, and it just gives Brad someone to talk to throughout the day, because I think he misses his wife and kids. And
right,
yeah,
yeah.
fridge. I mean, if you don't keep food cold, then it's going to go bad. So I think it's a great pick, and I potentially could have been an actual 1-1. I think you got it number 2, but I get 2 in a row here. I think this is pretty straightforward in my opinion. How do you survive life without energy? And how do you survive without your morning coffee? If you don't have that coffee maker in your house, I think a lot of people are going to not want to stay over. So I'm going to take coffee maker as my first round pick.
can we do we have to get specific, or is it just a general coffee maker? Drip coffee maker.
Well, I would say it's
I'm
a
gonna keep my
plug-in.
mouth
So,
shut.
I mean,
All
yeah,
right.
I'd say the machine that you plug in and it makes your coffee. So whatever you have in your home.
I do like
whatever you prefer.
I don't like the fan. I like just the regular one that you do that makes 12 cups, and I'll drink 10 of them before I go out the door.
Just shotgun 12 cups of coffee and Warner is flying. But yeah,
It's a problem.
that's my pick. I don't think there's anything overly exciting. I just think my life would be totally different if I didn't have one of those. So
Sure.
And sticking with that theme, I think my life would not be the same. We'd probably be more productive, but if we didn't have a TV as an appliance on the wall to entertain us, whether that's movies, whether that's shows, whether it's streaming, our kid watches a little bit. We try to filter that time, but it's a bit of a babysitter while we are making dinner on our own. But TV will be my number 2 pick.
I didn't think about that being an appliance, but I guess it technically is. It's not for cooking or for anything like cleaning. It's for entertainment. But I mean,
Now, what we did say with this, and I guess we didn't hit before, was it could be inside the house, it could be outside the house, or it could be garage items. So I looked at it as, is that a stretch? Am I getting? It's okay
not.
if it's okay. I just want to make sure. I don't want.
I'm good with it. Might change my strategy a little bit, but
I feel like all the picks are just all over the place right now. All right, let's go with I have a family, so I'm going to go with a high-end toaster.
Sweet.
I think a really
Wait a
great.
second. Did you just intro your pick with "I have a family, so I'll take a high-end toaster"?
I'm actually looking over to my kitchen, and I have other stuff written down. I'm like, man, what is important in my kitchen that I have to use all the time? And it's the toaster, and I wish there was 8 slots instead of 4.
Well, yeah, because when you're making those peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, you need.
I'm thinking what in here is important, and that one is. I'm looking at.
You just pulled an audible, looked around over your shoulder, and saw a toaster. And when I have a family, I need a toaster.
Yeah. I feel like it feels like Anchorman when they're going around in the circle, and Steve Carell, what does he say? Like,
I love lamp.
I love lamp.
yeah, that might actually need to be clipped for socials. That's a good one. Okay, so off the board, and probably not originally on your list, but you have a family.
No.
So Brad has selected toaster.
Toaster makes my life better. 8 slice toaster.
8 slice. Wow, that's like a double decker toaster. But I have to make sure it's a high end. He doesn't want any of those low end getting burnt.
No, it's got to be a good one. All the settings.
Because you got a family.
A bagel setting.
Costco's got the one right now with the LCD screen on this. You can select your degrees of toastiness, I guess. Like you can the picture of the brownness of your bread as opposed to just the numbers.
Did you know the numbers?
It's not a bad
minutes.
It's
I
not
know,
a bad
I know that
pick
now.
either.
I didn't always know that.
Yeah.
I always just thought, I thought that was the degree of toastiness, but that number is apparently minutes. But anyways, we're way off the rails here. This is going to be the theme of the podcast. I think is just not even close to on the rails. But last pick, second round, John.
Gotta keep
you have
running
air
this.
fryer. What is next for you?
A vacuum is my favorite appliance, and I like cleaning, and because I just can't sit still a lot of the time. But I like to clean, and I have a vacuum, and so I've got the charging the battery
Are we saying
the
Dyson?
wireless
Is that what
cordless one.
you're trying to?
I was trying not to say Dyson, but I do.
Okay.
I've got a Dyson. I actually have two Dysons.
No free
but-
ads. No free ads.
No free ads. Dyson doesn't
Yeah.
need my advertising. They've got enough money. But I got two Dysons. I've got the canister one, the ball that's plugs into the wall, and I've got the battery operated one. That's probably one of the best things I've ever bought. You just grab it off the wall, do a quick little run around the house, and dump it. You just press the little thing, pull the handle out. Their customer service is good. The quality's good. I think I've never had an issue with any of the Dysons I've ever used. So I'd say a vacuum, not specifically a Dyson vacuum, but I'm going to say a vacuum, a good quality vacuum, even though I
Cool,
don't have
vacuum.
a family here.
This is
I'm gonna
not
say it's
this
a good quality, fancy vacuum.
And this is not the first time you've taken a vacuum high in a draft either. You're
Is
a
it?
vacuum. You're a big vacuum fan. Remember, you took Central Vac. I'm pretty sure is one of your first
you
picks.
did.
Oh, Central
Yeah.
Vac,
Pick slate
the
Central
the
Vac.
sweeper
Wow.
vac in the kitchen.
Big vacuum guy.
John is a
I love
clean freak,
cleaning.
I guess. Yeah, he hates little dust on the floor. You shouldn't come to my house then. 'cause,
No.
Yeah.
I'll come back.
Third round, first pick, John. Let's see what you got.
So we haven't even touched on this one yet, but it's probably one of the biggest, literally the biggest appliances, and probably one of the most major ones that we use. And it's your range, it's your stove. This is a tough one because it's a number of different things all in one machine, right? Can be a couple of different things all in one machine, and you can separate these things too. So I'm gonna just stick with a range, which is your stove and your oven, like stove on top and oven on the bottom. If you want to get fancier, you can get into the fancier stuff, which I don't have here, but you can go. I'm just gonna get a range.
We are all drafting different. We're doing different drafts.
I'm here to win.
No, that's on definitely on the list and was high. I think it makes maybe your 1-1 pick overall a little irrelevant because they have stoves with air fryers in them. So
Yeah, because it's a convection oven.
You've doubled down on that convection oven. You like cooking and you like cleaning. That's what I'm getting out of this first 3 picks so far. But
I do.
nice, yeah.
I like those.
I think in the third round, a stove is a very good get for you.
You like the gas or electric or magnetic induction, or what do you guys
Gas.
cook on? Gas?
Gas, yeah.
Gas is dope. I love it.
It heats quicker. We grew up, all of our houses growing up were gas stoves, and the last 2 houses we've lived in, and my wife has always had, are electric, and they suck for cleaning. You get water that boils over, and it just like it's so hard to get it off. It's just
off that glass top.
I'm an a gas guy.
I got the glass top electric, and I'd rather kind of have gas, but I think the glass top electric to me is just like kind of what I'm used to, so I can kind of control what I'm doing. And I don't know, I don't do a heck of a lot of cooking right here by myself, but I'm much more of a cleaner.
Too
Yeah.
busy
Somebody else can
cleaning,
cook, and
yeah.
I'll do the dishes. That's how it is.
Okay, I'm going to go with, I think this has got to be plugged in at some part, but a gas fireplace.
That can be an appliance.
Yeah.
I'd say so. Gas
One
fireplace
one that you can, you turn it on with a little remote. You got a remote, you can maybe, I think it sets the mood, adds a little coziness to a property.
So John likes to cook and clean. Brad has a family, so he likes to set the mood and just have toast. You just get a nice couple slices of toast and peanut butter that you got out of your fridge, and then you just sit by that cozy gas fireplace.
You keep peanut butter in the fridge?
The natural stuff, yeah.
The natural stuff.
I
of
keep
course.
mine natural. Yeah, my all
Yeah.
natural peanut butter's in the fridge.
I didn't have gas fireplace on my list. I think it's a good pick, but it definitely wasn't on my list, which gets me excited because the next pick is very simple. But if you go into a house that doesn't have one, you notice it. It's was just kind of hit by John here, but it's a dishwasher. The convenience that adds to your life is great. If you don't have it, you miss it. So I'm gonna say dishwasher.
How did I hit Did I hit dishwasher? What did I say about dishwasher?
Yeah, you mentioned, well, you said cleaning the dishes. You didn't say dishwasher. You said cleaning the dishes.
Oh, okay.
I thought that was going to trigger something into Brad's brain, but he was just wanting a little cozy cuddle session.
So you're going dishwasher.
Going dishwasher.
Dishwashers are not really like, I don't know, how much is technology really advanced in terms of dishwashers? I mean, dishwashers are, they come in different colors, and there's a couple of different, there's your standard 24-inch dishwasher, your 18-inch dishwasher, which is a bit smaller. Some of them have a glass front so you can see the washing happen. Some of them are very quiet. If you ever get a Bosch dishwasher, European ones, the slots are a little bit smaller, but the it's a little quieter. They're very quiet. I've noticed those Bosch
I think
dishwashers.
I don't really know what advancements you need as long as those dishes are getting cleaned and dried. Short of them putting them away for you, I don't really know what else you need from that.
Good
but it's-
detergent.
Yeah,
Just a very strong, good detergent. No pre-wash.
Yeah. Maybe detergentless, or like you said, quiet and more water or energy efficient. I was gonna go a little more chalk here, but I'm gonna go true to my heart. And we're hoping to do a kitchen renovation in the next little bit. And by I mean I would love to. My wife could care less.
Mhm.
And in our island, I would like to have a bar fridge. The bar fridges have the two doors that open. One side can be your fridge for maybe kids' drinks, or if you're going for beverages, alcoholic beverages. The other side's often the wine fridge. So you're getting an alcohol fridge
Under the
they're
counter,
nice.
like counter
Under the
height, under the counter. Yep.
Yep. Some have locks on them, so if you are putting booze in there, you're not having your kids steal them. But I'm gonna take bar fridge.
Versatile. They can be anywhere. They don't just
Yeah.
have to be in the kitchen.
Anything.
Well, yeah, like right now we have one downstairs. The people have them outside.
Garage, outside.
Yep.
There's all kinds of possibilities if you want.
And there people have a ton of them. How many times do you go through a house and then there's like 4 or 5 bar fridges in the house?
Yeah, I was in
I
one
mean, all the
actually
time.
this year. I had clients put an offer in on one, and this was a really, really high-end home, but they had one on every floor. So there's 4. One was in the ensuite bathroom. There was a wine fridge in the bathroom.
Oh, I like that.
That could get romantic and cozy for Brad. I'm surprised.
Champagne in the tub, nice little champagne in the tub. But I also will say that some cosmetics need to be kept cold. So there's creams and things like that. If you're a cosmetic person, I'm not, but because I've heard of these things, you can keep stuff cold. If you have a little fridge in your bathroom to keep your creams and stuff cold,
Your beard oils and
your lipsticks and waxy stuff that can melt down in a hot bathroom is a little bit.
Brad.
Okay, my
fourth round,
pick.
second pick.
I do not have a strategy at this point. I don't even understand what we're
You don't
doing
say.
really. But I'm gonna go with an ice cream maker.
Nice.
We bought one last year and it is badass. Honestly, it's the best. You gotta freeze it for 24 hours and then you put it. It's a Ninja Creamy. They're great. It's an amazing appliance.
This is a plug for Ninja.
Now, do you want that specific on the graphic? Because I
give me
know
that.
those were actually very hard to get. Like people were having trouble locking them down.
I got one. Give me a Ninja Creamy.
Dreamy. This is outrageous.
This is going off the rails.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
all
we're
right.
trying to get guests for future episodes. This is gonna be the one they watch, and it's just Ninja Creamy ads. So.
Ninja Creamy.
Last pick of the 4th round, John. You're gonna have 2 in a row here.
So I'm just gonna go with a washer, a clothes washer.
I was wondering. I was hoping that wasn't going to sneak through to the draft room floor because it's one of the main 6 that you probably talked about.
You wash your clothes in it. You got you got your top load. You got your front load. You got your steam wash. Some of them have steam. Some of them are all kinds of features and have apps. I think I don't know, Samsung and LG. Some of those ones have apps where it pings your phone when your load is done. Pings your phone when your clothes are done, and we
might have to clip that one, ain't you?
There's a good clothing washer, I think is something that you can't really live without.
Yeah, I was going to say similar to the dishwasher. If you don't have a washing machine and you're going to do laundry like back in the university days, yeah, hey, good pick.
Sure.
I think.
Okay.
Like I don't know where
Cool.
this is going. I don't know.
I think it's good. It's an appliance for sure.
Yeah.
Go figure.
If you search appliance at any of your appliance stores, that's going to come up. So
Yep. Do I get
You
another?
gotta-
I got my
you
second
gotta
one?
take its partner.
last one,
Take
yeah.
its brother.
Is it last round already?
Yeah.
It is the 5th
All right.
round.
This is going to be a pretty obvious one. It's the dryer.
Oh, there he goes. There he goes.
It's
Good
the
one.
washer and the dryer. See, I was
Good
loving.
pick.
I'm so happy that I got to pick 2 together because it's washer and dryer. They're a pair, match made in heaven. There's some stuff I hang to dry, and there's a lot of stuff that just goes in the dryer. And hey, just clean that lint trap. Keep your lint trap clean. Avoids house fires. Keeps things kind of working properly too. Makes your clothes dry faster if there's more airflow.
John, I have to give you a nod here. The fact that you took them separately, I appreciate. This is a moment where sneaky Brad over there would have said washer dryer. They're a combo pair. Some are stackable. You would have tried for 2. So I appreciate that you took them separately. And I'm going to go out and say this. We're not even done the draft. I think you have a very good chance to win this week.
Don't
It
jinx it.
depends what the people actually are.
That's
looking
it. We
to
don't
get.
know. We don't know how
Like,
voting's going, but I'm looking at this team. And
They might
somebody's
go.
gonna-
What's the what's cool, or they're gonna be like, oh yeah, those are appliances.
Well,
It's,
hip and trendy is not a washer and dryer is not exactly hip and trendy. Maybe an air fryer is a little hippier and trendier.
It's no Ninja Creamy.
This is how upside
No
down.
Ninja
This is how upside down this draft is, though. Air fryer goes 1-1, and the last two picks for John are washer and dryer, which are probably some of the ones that you'd think of. I don't know. I don't know.
I've got laundry
I
to
just
do.
I
I gotta
think
go.
it's good, but
All right.
I don't know how Brad follows up Ninja Creamy, but here we go.
I'm gonna follow it up with another one that's really out there, and I don't even know if it's like an appliance per se. We're gonna have to maybe chat this out, but it's a massage chair.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
That's furniture.
yeah. It's plugs in. It's high end. It's luxury.
I got.
I
we
think
got
I
one-
went really with like the what's plugged in aspect of this.
You really were looking at items that plug in because
Yeah.
I'm not going to veto it. I don't think it's an appliance, but I think that's on the furniture side of things. But I mean, maybe like I would have thought like one of those bubble foot massagers might have been closer to an appliance. But if you want a massage chair, you are really going for cozy right now. You got a family, so you need that fridge, high-end
Brad is a-
toaster, gas
Brad is a
fireplace,
vibe.
Ninja Creamy.
See, this
Yeah,
is where
Brad is a vibe.
this is where people listening to the podcast are like, Scott's pretty mean to Brad. Like he's just ripping my picks, and then right before that he said, "Oh, see how you just took washer and dryer? Brad would have tried to sneak those two together." This is what the people are talking about. You're
It's
picking
good-
on Brad.
It's good candor, but yeah, we did talk about wanting to get not personas, but having a bit more than us just mumbling on about real estate. And Brad took the sneaky side, and I'm taking the honest, putting you in your place and telling the viewers what's
The
happening.
mean person. Yeah. Okay.
Mean. If that's bullying just by saying truth, then I'm sorry.
All right. Okay.
Sorry. What was your pick there? Back massager.
Massage chair.
Massage chair. Okay. No.
I love
Cool.
those things though. We got a couple of those at the gym, and every so often you just need something to just sit down and just like grind
Yeah,
into
they're-
your spine a little bit after a good workout.
They hurt too, eh? Like you're just like,
That's
this
good.
is
I
this
love
good
that.
hurt or bad hurt? And then
Good hurt.
I also like when those massage chairs. Our friend used to have one in his parents' basement that would the lift ones, the lift assist. So they'd finish massaging you and they'd help. It's for usually
help you
people
out.
that weren't very mobile. They'd raise up and you didn't even have to move. You'd just be standing. So now I just feel like I'm a bully. So I need to watch everything I'm
See?
saying because Brad's getting all sensitive over there, making me look bad in front of the like 100 people that are going to hear this. So there's a lot of options left. I don't know what people are looking for, so I'm just going to take something that I have an affinity for, and that would be smoker, a meat smoker.
Okay.
I think I could have gone a little more chalk, and I'll even say it. I was looking between a blender, which I think is more of a stereotypical, like quote unquote appliance that sits on your countertop. Smoker plugs in, V pellets go in the hopper, and it goes through, and you make some meat. It's kind of like a barbecue, but with smoke. People
that
know
kind of
it.
smoker. So you're
I'm
looking
just
at
Brad's looking down, and he's maybe gonna veto when he just chose massage chair. That's okay.
I just don't think of a smoker like that, like a plug-in.
that's
plug-in
that's a pellet grill. So
Oh,
smoker,
yeah, Traeger
it's
smoker.
Traeger, yeah, like a Traeger pellet grill, which smokes, which is a bona fide smoker, uses
I
electric.
don't mind repicking if this is a problem. I don't want
it
to
uses
cause any
electric-
animosity.
Well, it
Does
uses
it
electricity.
does use electricity. Smokers
to-
do.
So I think it
didn't think
depends.
so.
If you get a charcoal smoker, you're heating the charcoal, and you're just kind of. Or if you get one that is just a like wood based, you're burning that, and but the pellet smoker, the plug is plugged in order to have the hopper feeding the pellets through to the burn area.
I
Well,
only
out there.
think of them as like charcoal, or you know what I mean. Like I don't think of
That's
it
fair.
as something you plug.
I mean,
in.
if
It's like a
we're getting-
barbecue in my mind. It's like you wouldn't put a barbecue.
I did have barbecue on my list, but I wasn't
Doesn't
going to
plug
take it because
in.
it doesn't plug in. So that's why I took it off. But
Well-
I mean, you chose furniture with your last pick. Massage chair is not an appliance. I'm just trying to turn over a new leaf and not
Okay.
pick on you or
I'm going to show you behind the curtain, though. I asked ChatGPT for luxury electrical appliances, and this is what ChatGPT said. Personal home spa, jacuzzi, and massage chairs was one of the top luxury appliances.
So a plug-in jacuzzi by Chat GPT standard is an appliance.
Luxury.
I literally had a jacuzzi on my list that I was thinking about taking.
You know what? It's a good. I would have never thought of that. But all right, let's go over them. John, team 1, air fryer, vacuum, stove, washer, and dryer. Brad, smart fridge, high-end toaster for your family. Gas fireplace, a Ninja Creamy, and a massage chair.
Love
then
that.
Scott, coffee maker, TV, dishwasher, bar fridge, Traeger smoker. I think I might have lost it with my last pick there, but hey. So like I said, blender, draft room floor. I think a blender, like a nice Vitamix or Ninja. A big one in our house because like Brad, I have a family too. Steam cleaner. We have one of those portable ones, especially for pets too. So you get a spill, you get a throw up or something. You're
Bissell
cleaning
Pet
that
Pro
thing,
had
and
that on my list.
It is
Best thing.
a game changer.
Yep, best thing.
A Sonos soundbar. Those things plug in, or even the Alexa or whatever you use, your Echo, all those things plug in, and that's where everything being automated, voice activated. I think that would have been a nice pick too. And then I had a lawnmower, which apparently is not maybe an appliance.
Electric ones plug in.
Electric one, yeah, but that no one wants you want either
Those
battery
are awful.
or the gas, yeah.
Battery though, you got the battery powered one. The battery plugs into charge. I don't know. I'm grasping at straws for it.
They're awful too. They're awful too.
Yeah, is the charger then the appliance? And I don't know. That's why I didn't pick it, but it was on my list. I was just going with what I had. So what did you guys have?
Oh man, I'm all over.
I'm very interested.
I had a steamer, not as because I would never use it.
Clothing steamer
or the floor. The mop one is good too. Actually, any steaming.
But I never would use an iron, but I'll use a steamer. I had jacuzzi. I had a smart mirror.
What is that?
I'm so happy you didn't choose that.
It's another mirror. You some of them I'm pretty sure
massage chair.
It would be similar to a smart fridge. It has the weather on there. It might have the news on there.
That's cool.
Yeah,
someone to talk to again.
Someone to talk to, and they made they'll light up around the outside. I mean, I think I had a cappuccino maker on here. This is what Chat GPT had. Some of them that their drafting room floor.
Yeah,
they had
mailing it in with
the
Chat
fourth
GPT.
member of the draft.
Intelligence shower system, automated walk-in closet. They had the home theater, a walk-in wine cellar. They had that as an appliances.
Sure.
Yeah.
Chat GPT understands what appliances are, maybe.
Yeah.
This is why we're all still going to have jobs for the foreseeable future because, you can't be trusting that.
I got, air fryer fridge. So espresso machine, the biggest, I have an espresso machine and I love it. Espresso machine, an extra fridge. We talked about bar fridges and things like that. Toaster oven. Brad talked about toaster. I was kind of thinking toaster oven. So you can kind of do a lot of things with a toaster oven, not just
pizza bagel guy.
Pizza, frozen pizzas, pizza bagels, I don't know, cheese sandwiches, maybe, I don't know, toaster oven, wine chiller, we talked about that, a margarita machine, with the spout, with the, you see them at restaurants and fairs and stuff, it spins the slush, like a slushy machine. The built-in over-the-range microwave is just a microwave, but I mean, it's
microwave slip through. How did that happen?
Yeah,
air fryer people, I guess.
Air fryer people are just ditching their microwaves. That's kind of how it is. But if you got the over-the-range microwave, it's nice, kind of takes up, usually a little bit bigger. Sometimes they're more powerful. They don't take up counter space and that kind of stuff. Juicer, iron, steamer, like a clothing steamer, rice cooker, lots of rice, rice cooker.
Instant Pot or whatever they call it.
I almost dropped an Instant Pot when you chose air fryer. I said, I was in my head going to say, is that the new Instant Pot? Is it the new fad? But I didn't want to tip picks. Slow cooker, it just did more things, which I guess slow cooker is also
slow cooker, crock pot, George
crock
Foreman
pot is
grill.
something I would use. Yeah, crock pot's something I'd actually use a lot.
Yeah, and I had the Bissell Pet Pro too, the carpet cleaner for pets.
And if you guys are still listening, you're obviously true.
Good on you. Good on you.
This was one that we're going to throw into the memory bank of trying not to replicate, but maybe you got some laughs out of it. So thanks for hanging on. Again, like we were saying, whether you reach out to us or comments, let us know. Are there any topics you want to hear about? Are there any topics you want us to draft on? Thank you for listening. And we're excited to see the results on this thing because I have no idea.
This will be a weird one.
Yeah,
This is odd. Yeah.
keep listening. Comment on social at the Drafting Offers Podcast.
And we will talk to you guys in a couple of weeks.
You've been listening to the Drafting Offers Podcast. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at the Drafting Offers Podcast and vote for this week's draft champ. That's also how you can get directly in touch with us if you have any questions about this week's show. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and catch every episode on Spotify. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and we can't wait for you to join us again for another episode of the Drafting Offers Podcast.